With each court hearing that goes by, more and more evidence stacks up against YSL rapper Young Thug. On September 9th, Young Thug had a court hearing revolving around a tweet sent out on his Twitter account on August 31st. As the tweet states, "I'm talking with my roommate, and we're wondering if you could swim 100 miles from the middle of the ocean back to shore, at Michael Phelps." What seems like a very innocent tweet sent out by his manager by Young Thug's request turned ugly, as this was Young Thug's lawyer defending him in the courtroom about the matter.
Williams is in a jail outside of Fulton County. There are 0 cell phones in that jail. That last tweet that was sent out to Michael Phelps is recorded. It's been investigated by the sheriff of that county, and it was a conversation that's recorded between Mr. Williams and a member of his close friendships, that he asked the other person who has control of his Twitter account. That is not a reason to...
Well, this is part of the conversation, Mr. Steele, and you and others are going to need to have with your clients, because this is part of the state's concern. I mean...
That was an innocent... That's nothing bad. Asking somebody to tweet to Michael Phelps, "Can you swim 100 miles in the ocean?" That has nothing to do with intimidation. So I'd ask you...
Well, if I can communicate through a family member or somebody else, then I can communicate something else.
Everything okay over there?
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, your family was concerned that something was going on. You're fine, right? Yes, I'm great. Okay, cool.
Now, prosecutors raised concern to the judge that Young Thug has way too much access to his social medias, even with him being behind bars. Now, this has been an issue the entire YSL RICO case, as allegedly with Young Thug behind bars, he is still organizing crime. An example of this is when the prosecution in the YSL RICO case announced they have proffer deals from members of YSL that name Young Thug the head of the organization. Members in YSL that are still in the free world are deleting evidence from the court case that all relate to Young Thug. We even saw No Jumper report a YSL member was caught on an illegal cell phone trying to get someone on the outside to destroy evidence in the Young Thug RICO case. Now, as the YSL RICO case continues, sources say to expect Young Thug's social medias to go very silent soon, as on August 19th, YSL kingpin Young Thug had his 3rd bond hearing. During this hearing, he was denied bond once again after prosecutors gained a bunch of new evidence against him from the YSL members that snitched. As it starts by stating, Young Thug was denied bond yet again on Thursday during a heated hearing in his RICO case, where his lawyer suggested the Grammy-winning rapper is the subject of a law enforcement vendetta dating back to a 2015 drive-by of Lil Wayne's tour bus. Now, also in the same year of 2015, one of the main reasons why Young Thug is arrested today is due to the 2015 Rival Street member Donovan Thomas Jr. sadly passing, as prosecutors say that Young Thug had involvement in it. As it states, Jeffrey Williams and Gunna, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, have pleaded not guilty and deny the allegations, including that Williams had a role in the January 10th, 2015 passing of alleged rival team member Donovan Thomas Jr. Prosecutors say Williams rented the silver Infiniti Q50 sedan that is linked to the crime. One of the YSL members that are currently snitching against Young Thug claimed that Young Thug said in an iMessage group chat only days after, stating, "Sacrifices must be made, soldiers must fall in order for the battle to be won." Now, luckily, Young Thug's lawyer had a strong defense against this and proved that Young Thug said no such thing. Now, while Young Thug's lawyer was making great defenses for the Michael Phelps tweet and all of the evidence against Young Thug, there is one thing keeping him inside of jail. Now, the judge agreed with the prosecutors when they made the statement claiming how dangerous Young Thug truly is, as the snitches currently in the YSL case are scared for their families' lives, even with Young Thug behind bars. As this paperwork was released, stating, the Fulton County District Attorney says YSL team members are going after the life of a witness and their family in the criminal case against rapper Young Thug and the 27 other alleged members. As it goes on saying, Willis's office has discovered a document and part of a cooperating witness's statement statement that was posted on social media. The life of that witness? A cooperating YSL associate, otherwise known as a snitch. And that witness's family are in jeopardy as a result. Willis says authorities are still investigating who leaked the discovery material. A new indictment was added last week that added new charges against Williams and a handful of other defendants in the case. Williams, aka Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele, and the district attorney seem to agree, as Steele claimed it puts people at risk and wants it to stop immediately. Now, prosecutors believe, as mentioned earlier, with Young Thug still having a social media presence, this is what led to the snitches being leaked online. As the man snitching is known as Lil Woody. Lil Woody demanded safety for him and his family after he started snitching on Young Thug, Gunna, and Lil Baby. Now, sources claim that prosecutors don't find it fair, as not only is Young Thug's lawyer defending him in every way possible, but Young Thug also has millions of fans online, a lot of them being tech savvy, and they're able to find and leak court documents that are not supposed to be out there. This is how the witnesses were found in the YSL case, and this is why the Atlanta DA can't find who did it. Now, there was also another piece of evidence found inside of the YSL mansion. This will be adding years to Young Thug's prison sentence, as this was found inside of his own home. As the evidence report says, and I quote, "In the name, in behalf of the citizens of Georgia, do charge and accuse Duke, Yak Gotti, and Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, with the offense of possession of a firearm for the said accused in the state of Georgia in county of Fulton on the 9th day of May 2022 did unlawfully possess a firearm with a converter switch and extended mags." Now, what is known as a switch or a switchy in many rappers' lyrics nowadays is a mod that you can attach to a single fire firearm. When adding a switch to one of these firearms, it ends up making it fully auto, which in the United States is highly illegal. Now, inside of the YSL mansion owned by Young Thug was these exact items. Now, this evidence is coming out as the prosecutors do not want Young Thug any chance of receiving bond, as just 2 weeks ago, footage of his most serious court case was released.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's King Slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
Now, during this court hearing, the judge also outlined reasons why Young Thug will never receive bail and will never leave prison, as it states that Young Thug is the head of the organization. Young Thug runs his operation in a very secretive manner, as Young Thug would often purchase used iPhones that he would then use as burner phones. Young Thug would often purchase these iPhones in bulk, meaning he can throw one away whenever he thinks it may be tapped. Now, he would use these phones to FaceTime his troops to handle business on the streets, whether it was narcotic related, going after rival street members, or other things. Now, when using FaceTime, it's impossible for law enforcement and cell phone providers to tap these phones and listen in on phone calls, as FaceTime is often used by street members, as there's no trace of what is said in these calls anywhere. more. And it was rumored on how these FaceTimes are actually directed. When using FaceTime with Young Thug, if you had a job to do, you would FaceTime him afterwards. If the job was complete, you would shake your head up and down and end the phone call. If you did not complete the job, you would FaceTime him and shake your head side to side and end the FaceTime call, making any sort of evidence against Young Thug truly hard to get. But the Atlanta DA and prosecutors believe they have enough evidence to make sure Young Thug never comes back to the free world. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. It's been District Trending and I'm out. Peace.